So Kenny, tell me about the trading post. Like, where did it come from? How did it get here? We built it here, didn't we?
No. The Boot Ranch on Lake Tarpon, at the south end of Lake Tarpon, the original Boot Ranch was owned by a man named Alfred Boyd. And the ranch foreman was a woman named Lois Oxum. And when Alfred Boyd sold the Boot Ranch to all the subdivisions and everything else, he gave Lois Oxum property on Brooker Creek. She built that cabin on Brooker Creek, and then later she sold the cabin and she sold the property to a developer for a subdivision, and Mr. George Casey, who was real influential in building this camp, she called George and said, if you guys would like my house, you can have it, but you have to move it. We have a builder that we've used. A number of buildings on this property were brought here. The Sertoma house, the Ranger's house, the two houses on the other side of the Sertoma Lake, they were all brought here from a subdivision right up the street here. But this cabin was just short enough to pass legal code to bring up the highway. The legal code was 14 foot, the cabin was 13.8. So we got permission from the state to move it. The builder looked at it, we thought we were going to cut it in 3 pieces. The builder looked at it and thought we could move it in 1 piece. And he knows his stuff. He picked it up, put it on a trailer, built a trailer under it, and we left East Lake at like 1 in the morning, and about 6 in the morning we were here. It came up 19, about 15 miles an hour, with 2 people sitting on the roof. And we got to a traffic light. We had a Florida power truck and a state trooper with us. The state trooper would block the lights, and the Florida power truck made sure we didn't damage anything. And we would grab the traffic light and turn it sideways and walk it down the roof and let it go as we went through the light. And that was really neat. That was one of the neatest things we did here. When we originally brought it into property, we had it turned, and it was facing south. And then we decided to turn it around and face it. When we looked at it, we decided to turn it 90 degrees, and we built a wall in the center and turned it into 2 buildings. It's a trading post and the first aid lodge. And it works really good that way. The trading post is not as big as we wish it was, but we gained 2 buildings doing that. So that was pretty unique.
So is there any unique things about Sand Hill that nobody else knows about?
There's a lot of things about Sand Hill that a lot of people don't know about. We have some ravines that are real deep, 30 foot deep here in Sand Hill. They're in a corner of the property. And actually, if you go backpacking, you can backpack from the ranger's house east to the corner of the property, and actually we have a campsite sort of built in those ravines up on a hilltop. And the kids like backpacking back there. And then you come around the camp and come in by the big barn. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but we have a couple of beautiful crystal clear springs right here on the property. They're on the other side. But and wait till you guys see the new sign, the new entrance sign. In another month we're going to put it, Sertoma Club's going to build a new entrance sign. It's going to be awesome. It's a concrete wall, 10 foot by 20 foot, set in beams, solid concrete, and it's going to have the Scout emblem in the center and Sand Hill cranes on each side, on both sides. And it's going to say Sand Hill Scout Reservation.
So we've heard you mention the Sertoma house a few times. Can you tell us what that is? We know the name, but we don't know what it does.
Well, there were originally 3 Pinellas County Sertoma clubs. South County, Mid County, and North County. The 2 South clubs are both gone. They've closed. North County Scout Sertoma is the only Sertoma club in Florida that does things mostly for scouts. And most of our fundraisers are for this camp in Sewell. In the last 10 years, Sertoma clubs put about $135,000 in this camp. There's a lot of equipment and a lot of the buildings. If you go out to 19 and go north, there's a subdivision on the left, and as they were selling it, they had a street that came right off 19 and all the models set there. They had 4 different houses and a sales office. When they sold the whole subdivision, they asked us if we wanted those buildings, but we had to move them. The same builder that moved the trading post, we talked to him and he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. He says, I'll move them all for the price of 2. 30 grand. We raised 30 grand and he moved all the houses. The Ranger's house, and there were 3 houses on the back of Sertoma Lake, but we've taken 1 down. 1 wasn't in good shape. And then the Sertoma house was originally the sales office, and it was kind of U-shaped. We turned the 2 offices into bedrooms, and then we built a kitchen across the back. And if you go in there, it's really neat the way it's made. But that's where the campmasters stay on weekends. It's used a lot. It's probably one of the most used buildings here in camp. But it's pretty unique. A lot of different things, like our staff cabins. I don't know if you guys know this, but the tent you guys are sleeping in, a new tent is about $1,000. And the Ranger we got here is really smart. And he said, you know, for $1,000 we could build a cabin, and it's permanent. The tents are not permanent. And so he belongs to Sertoma, and we discussed it. And one of the Brooksville raids, we put $10,000 aside to build 10 of the cabins, and Johnny Aid, that owned Coca-Cola in Tarpon Springs, paid for the other 5. And they were about $1,100 a piece. But if you've ever stayed in those little cabins, they're really nice. They're roomy and they're well built. And we were very impressed with them. The first cabin we built, I think, is number 4. It's 2 foot shorter than the rest. And then later we decided that we would extend them 2 more feet and it would make them more roomy. We can actually put 4 people in one if we need to. 2 people in the bunks and 2 in cots. And that's why we extended them. But there's a lot of things about this camp that are really unique. It's nothing like it was when we first got this property. I was here when we first looked at it, and it was a desert. It had very little. And we've done a lot. I mean, for years we planted plants that brought in wildlife. There were no persimmon trees here, no wild blueberries when we got this place. And we planted them, and they've grown and grown and grown, so now we got lots of them. The turkeys, we brought the turkeys in, and now we figure we got about 85 turkeys on the property, although the coyotes have been a problem lately. But just a lot of things.
Oh, thank you for the trading post, and we really enjoy the candy.
Yeah, good. You guys, I hope you enjoyed your week.
Range Master, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the range?
Well, I've been working the ranges up here since about 2002, when I started with my son. I've gone from being a range master to being one of the shooting sports directors. We've got rifle, shotgun, and archery ranges. We just rebuilt our rifle and archery ranges. So we've got real nice ranges down there. Have you been down to shoot yet?
No, not yet.
All right, we need you down there.
Is there anything anything else you should add that the kids should know about the range?
Well, safety. We stress safety. We want safety. And then you have fun. But the ranges are nice. We do shotgun, 12 and 20 gauge. We do rifle, 22 caliber for scouts. And we do archery, both compound and recurve bows. Have you shot archery yet?
No, not yet.
Alright, we need to get both of you down to the ranges so you can experience the shooting sports side of our house.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
you.
Thank you.